Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I am going to workshop a couple of people's dreams in real time on the show. So enjoy. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast with Michael and Sandy. Although today Sandy's going to step out because Kari and Melissa are allowing us to create a show by workshopping their dreams. So let's just dive straight in and we'll start with Melissa. Melissa, you're up.
Right. I was in a building somewhere. I ran into Brad Jackin. He was part of our friend group from high school. He died in a drunk driving accident not long after we graduated. Anyway, so he was like, guess what I'm doing now? And he said that he was a corporate counselor. So he went to corporations and counseled people there. And in the dream, I was thinking, is this something I could do? His girlfriend was a licensed therapist, and it was her company and had hired him on. And he told me
Who say that again? Who was that? Who hired him on?
So I was talking to Brad.
Yeah, but who hired him on?
Oh, his girlfriend. She was actual like college degree therapist and licensed or whatever. Right. And he was just like, how I am or whatever. So he said, there's one spot left, talk to her about it. And I believe her name was Sarah. I knew his girlfriend was darker skinned. She may have been Indian, so it might be like a karmic thing, but I can't remember. That was super clear. Right. But I saw two women in the group that might have been her, and I wasn't sure which one she was. And so then we were going to Costco, and I was talking to Brad, and I was thinking how even though he didn't have a counseling degree, I knew he would make a good counselor, based on his demeanor and how he was and stuff. And I said to him, this might be rude, but are you going to Central? And Central was the high school we went to. And I thought it was rude because if he was there, I should know or whatever. He said, yeah, I go there, but my teacher is he either said another high school or a college. So basically the teacher was teaching him from a distance. And then Brad also mentioned how he did dancing in Utah. So there were fewer of us going to Costco, so I was able to spot his girlfriend. And there were at least three escalators there were three escalators on the floor we were on. And she started to go down one, but it wasn't on. And someone was like, what's with you and escalators? Because apparently she had done something similar a few times. So we found the one to go down, and I was asking her about the position, and I said I would love to interview for it. And I asked her if she was a therapist, and I kind of stumbled over my words a little bit because I was like, well, of course you're a therapist because you have this business, but I guess you could also have been like a social worker, whatever. Anyway, she said yes. And when we got off the escalator, we weren't really in Costco, but wherever we were, they were having a food drive, and there was a desk or a table with canned food in boxes, and I was carrying a thing of like open toilet paper and some other paper product, and I was like, well, I'm not giving them this, it's open, I'll just keep them.
Alrighty. Are you in Anne's group?
Yes. Yeah, so this was the after.
Okay. All right. So this is connected to Anne's group. So this is that energy healing. So we discovered through Anne's dreams that she has a special type of energy healing, and she's trying it out piloting it with a group of people. And we already knew from a previous pilot that it changes everybody's dreams, and they get introduced to some male character that they'd lost contact with. And here we have straight away in Melissa's a masculine side, because she's trying to heal masculine energy, and clearly it's working. Had you ever thought of being a corporation counselor? And what exactly does that mean to you?
I don't know what that is. Well, actually, I have thought about it, but I don't know exactly what it is.
All right. Okay. I don't think you should do it.
Okay.
So the theme of the dream is restoring masculine side to give you confidence. And we see here in the dream, the pushback, like you don't reject Brad, but the pushback is the constant reference to qualifications. And so you have to realize you're everybody in the dream. So you're also the qualified therapist, right? And this I get, you know, I see this with people's gifts all the time. Their gift is superb, but they don't have the ability to stand in front of an audience, or they don't have the ability to sell their services, or they don't. But yet, if they had the client, they can work great with the client, right? So it's a completely separate thing from the gift, but it causes you to doubt. But the doubt is caused by masculine energy imbalance, right? That's the classic way it shows up. And the fact that we see all this, I'm going to say it and let them correct me. We see all this happening, and then you go down an escalator, and then there's food in boxes, which are symbol for the womb. So it's this is part of your purpose, is to work on this masculine side and reconnect with it. Normally, the males are somebody from high school, all right, but not somebody dead. So it's quite interesting how extreme this dream is. It's like it's raised somebody from the dead and reconnecting you with them, which is just super, super good. So you pretty much accepted everything in this dream, because even like he represents you, and him being offered the job is you being offered that job. And then you go to the woman and say, you'd like to apply. So there's no rejection of anything in this at those points anyway. So it's really good. And then you felt it was rude that you should know him, which is exactly true. You should know your own masculine side. But the fact that you don't, like, you already know that, and you're working on that. So that's good. Teacher was teaching from a distance, so you're getting help. The universities make it all about higher learning and spiritual stuff, higher aspects. So the way you need to look at it is, you have a good connection with, like, you can channel well. You're really good at the counseling side. You're good at lots of other stuff that you do, and you don't have a problem with it. You're good at the healing. Like, you're one of the few. When I said I was looking for people for my dream summit, you said, I'll do channeling or dreams. I don't mind which. So there are areas you're really confident in. So it's not like an all round confidence thing. But the way they're saying it is to realize that because he's getting taught from a different university, taught from a distance, you're getting help from a distance, spiritual leadership from a distance. And so the way you need to look at it is, forget you having the qualifications. They're endorsing you. They're saying you do, right? But they have them. So it's like, don't question your angel's qualifications. So when you're working with clients, you're the one entitled. Now, this is all, connected to dad. It's like, it isn't just, oh, where did I get this silly idea from? It's baked in, and it was meant to be baked in, and something you're meant to overcome. But they're saying to help you overcome it is to realize that you're getting help all the time. You're obviously aware of it, because in the dream, you're like, oh, you didn't think that weird. You didn't say, how on earth does that happen? That can't happen. It was like, oh, that's what's happening. It was a realization of what's happening. So they're saying, use that realization as, you don't need to be qualified in anything if the beings that are helping you have the qualifications, right? 3 is commitment. Girlfriend went down. 1 that I wasn't on, asked her about the position. Oh yeah, she had a problem that it wasn't turned on. Okay, so that's birth was more difficult than it could have been, because like the stairs didn't work. So we see elimination system, digestive system stuff, not anything big, but more significant is you decide not to share what you're carrying because it's open. And so it's that, like, I only want to share what's perfect. So that's one of the things that gets in your way. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, consider if somebody came to you and you said, you're in your head, you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, I part of it is there's this inner scream while you're trying to figure out, how are you going to be perceived by this person? Do you know what they need well enough in a way that you think they will be comfortable with? And so this is a problem. So they're saying what you can easily do is just say, look, I will help you with the parts of this I know right at the start. And then it takes away that
Pressure.
what's their perception, you know,
Mhm.
because it's nothing about your ability. Your ability is fine. It's other stuff gets in the way of it. And that's what you're meant to heal. And this is normally the way the balance is. You bring a gift. The gifts we bring, we're excellent at. We're really good at those. But we will have some obstacle that we need to work on in order really to embody it fully in the world and so on. So this is your obstacle, nothing to do with the gift, but it shows up around the gift. And of course, then because it keeps showing up, well, it shows up in all the wrong places. There's no right place, let's say. But it causes you to question it. But your desire to use the gifts and help is what keeps you going. Like you're not going to give up on it. And they're saying that you will overcome this, like this will go completely. So to persist could even go just now from this healing, because that's what it's all brought up. But it's really cool to see it happening you the same way it happened the other 6 people in our very first pilot. Thank you for the dream. So nothing to do.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Who have we got next? Then we have Kari.
The young girl. I was traveling in England. I was part of a group. We were somewhere, I don't know where. We looked at the sky. The clouds were dark. It started to rain. Some went into the cubicle at the toilets. I did that too, but I still got wet.
Okay.
I left the place, but I did not go with the group. Later, I regretted that, thinking it would have been easier for me to be in a group. But on the other hand, I would not have had all the experience I've got. I walked across a bridge. I was inside a pub. It was closing time, near 11 o'clock. People were leaving. A woman, man, all sorts of people. I thought I must be in the poorest part of the city. I was in another pub and the same thing happened. I did not know the name of the hotel I was staying in. I did not know anybody, but I could call one of the leaders. But then I had to walk in the dark streets until morning. A young woman came to me. She had a piece of paper in her hands. I asked her if she could help me. I told her where the hotel could be. She showed me 2 names of the hotels. I recognized one name. We walked in the streets, not where I thought the hotel would be, but we walked in the streets. Then we came to a hotel. I saw a woman I knew the face of. I thanked the young woman who had helped me by the hand. That's the dream.
All right. So did you feel at the end of the dream that that you'd found yourself, like when you saw the person you knew? Was it like, oh, I'm good from here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And you lived in England for a while?
Yeah, it's 30 years ago. Yeah.
It's still, yeah. And how did you feel? So it's not going to have its normal meaning, is what I'm getting at. How did you feel when you lived in England? Was that like a great time in your life?
It was the happiest year of my life. And then I felt obliged.
Write to England and tell them that. They'd be delighted to hear. They'll put it on their posters. What were you saying about feeling obliged?
To go back and help my parents.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. And that's what made you leave. Okay. Yeah. I'm so happy I should go back to my parents. You know, the thing is, we all do that, you know, and even if our parents aren't around, we still carry the influence. We carry the negative. Obviously, this positive, but the negative ruins our lives. It's meant to. Ruin is the wrong word. Okay, let me just check on this. So she had like a map, was it?
Just a piece of paper.
So do you go through life like wondering who you are, in the sense of Yeah, I know what the paper means, but I'm trying to find a way to describe it. Well, let me do the rest of the dream and then we'll get it. Yeah, because I'm quite happy with it. Right. So England is about you being happy and then part of a group. So it's all about you finding a community. First of all, you're a spiritual leader too, because we see the leader and we see the groups throughout the dream. But you leave and you go on your own. So and then you cross a bridge. So you have a counseling skill as well. You're good with people one-to-one. You're able to help them. And you probably wonder to yourself, how can I help people and I can't help myself? Does that cross your mind?
Correct.
So, so you've got those two. We see the isolation. So we see a lonely life with you in the dark. So the pubs, what they said the pubs were about is like looking for community. I'm looking for community, but I only get it temporarily because this is like, there's a closing time. The emphasis was on closing time. And so it's like, I'll have community, but pretty soon we'll all be sent our separate ways and this place will close. Can you channel?
Yeah. I don't do it very often, but I can, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what the 11 is. So we see your abilities. What else have we got? Okay. So the sky, the clouds were dark. That's depression. It started to rain. Rain is actually good, but the depression obviously isn't. And then going into the cubicle, but still got wet. It's actually good to still get wet in the dream. It's like, despite you trying to protect yourself from life still got you, but we want life to get us. When you get to your life review or the way further down the line, you'll be happy for the experiences you had, even though now you're not happy. That's what that part really is saying. Whereas other people will be coming back to relive things they've avoided. You haven't been happy, but you also haven't avoided the living part. Right?
I haven't been happy, but
you still have not avoided the living part.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've still done the things. So it's like, I won't have to do it again. Regretted. Okay. So we see that, like, where's my community? That's what that part is about. Walking across the bridge, that's your counseling skill. And then that feeling of being alone, that's your counseling skill. The poorest part of the city, like that abandoned, neglected, like there's nobody here for us. We only have each other if we're lucky. That's a counselor's start to life. It's all about mom. Like mom wasn't there for me. That's what the abandonment is. Another pub, same thing happened. So we know what that is. Didn't know the hotel name, didn't know anyone. So that brings it right back to your reception at birth, the hotel. Whereas it should be like, this is great. I've arrived in the happiest place on the planet. It's not. It's quite the opposite. You said you could call the leader. Again, that's your skill, leadership skill. But you can also communicate with your guide. So you kept that connection because of that poor start. You can talk. I was going to say talk to your angels, but they said the universe. Do you use the word universe instead?
Help us.
Anyway, dark streets until morning. So it's like, okay, I'm in the dark. It's not like I'm fully lost. It's like, I know I'm going to find where I need to go. I know right now I'm in the dark. So it's gloomy, but it's not like, this is terrible. This woman's going to die in the street here and nobody'll ever know. It just paints the pain of your life, let's say. And the woman with the paper. So that's a qualification they're saying. Oh yeah. So it's kind of like, here's your birth certificate. Here's who you are. And here's your heritage. And here's like all that. And it's all written out. And it's like, I don't have that. I don't have a sense of that. So where is that for me? A lot of people know where they are. They know what they're meant. It's not so much know what they're meant to be doing, but it's like, even if they do nothing, it's like, yeah, I know my place in the world. And so they're saying the paper is kind of that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She showed me 2 names of hotels. There's the channeling again. Is it H2? Is it also H2? It is H2. We walked in the streets and saw a woman I knew. So that's good. So the dream ends well. It's reconnecting with your feminine side. So basically the issues with mom causing you this disconnect, like mom not being there for you, mom abandoning you, deserting you and all that sort of stuff. Now she could have been present in your life. She wasn't emotionally present. She didn't play the role that she was meant to play. And that's impacted you and given you the gifts and also being the pain in your life. So what the dream promises is you're going to heal this. Like it's a happy ending because your feminine side, your intuition, the part of you that you're like, where you say, I can help other people, but how do I help myself? It still comes along in the end and helps you. Does that make, because the woman, which is your feminine side, your intuition, your counseling, spiritual leadership, they all work through feminine energy. And so it's like, this is what saves me ultimately. But it doesn't save you from, in the sense of, if this didn't happen, I'm totally screwed. You would have been fine anyway. And you have that sense in the dream of, I just have to walk the streets till morning. And it's kind of funny. Morning in a dream is a really good thing. I mean, dawn is in morning. That's what happens. And that's about stepping into feminine energy. It's like one of the best things you can see in a dream is waking up at dawn. It's like the light has entered me and my feminine energy has been switched on. And because it's all about the dharmic path and being in that space. And so that's where you're heading. That's what the dream is saying. That's where you're heading. So even the bleak part is pointing to something very good coming. It's nice. And then you even thank your feminine side. So there isn't like, despite all the pain with mom, there isn't a like, okay, that's a woman, I'll avoid her, women are horrible. The helpful woman is in your dream because mom wasn't helpful, But anyway, does that make sense? You happy
Yeah,
with
but
that?
did you say age 2?
Yes.
So what happened at age 2?
So the reception issue, like mom not being who she could have been, was very impactful around that age. That's what the 2 is about. So we kind of go along. If I regress people through these stages of life, they're miserable, but they're like, it's going to come good. Mom's going to see me. And, but then you hit a point where it's like, that's never going to happen. And so 2 might be the time when you decided that was never going to happen. It does tend to happen around 2 or 3. But the problem with that then is you're not going to have a clear memory of age 2. You probably don't have a memory of age 5 or 7. So it's like, that's another thing I see with people who have issues with mom in particular. Their memory of their childhood is very poor. Why should I remember it? It's that bad, And so what you end up doing is you live in a fantasy world rather than in the real world. And so you don't have memories of the real world because you're present in it, but not participating because it's horrible and painful. And so you're not building the memories.
I haven't been like that. I want to know as much as I can from I was born, but my mother.
Here's how it works. Everybody has that desire. You don't need to know, but it can help at times to know. So what tends to happen is that the more you work on yourself, what will come to you in an insight or in a meditation is feeling how mom felt. And that seems strange, but it tends to bring a lot of closure. When you can put your finger on, I get it from mom's perspective and I never did before. Not that you're trying to and you shouldn't try to, but part of the release tends to be a connection with mom's energy at the time. And it allows you to let it go. It's very common for people to have that. Usually, like when you're waking up, that kind of relaxed in bed, not doing anything. Like it doesn't come when you're walking down the street, but it comes in a relaxed state where you're able to close your eyes and just feel the feeling. Has that ever happened to you?
Mm-hmm.
The closure will come that way, which is why they're saying it. Yeah, they're agreeing. The closure is going to come that way. And closure in the sense of you'll be able to say to yourself, I can let this piece go. You don't have to let it all go, but you can let a piece go at a time. And it won't bother you anymore after that because you'll be like, I get it. Not that you condone it, but I get it. I get that I got the answer,
Mm-hmm.
But the answer won't be intellectual. It'll be feeling. So there'll be a feeling in your heart of, I understand it emotionally.
I've just done that with my sister because I've had troubles understanding her, but now I understand her more, her choices.
Right.
So correct what you're saying.
All right. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the answers are, in the heart, not the head, which is where we look for them. I want to understand. It's like, no, we need to allow. And what they give us is the feeling that element lets us allow. And feminine energy lets us allow. Like, I let that person be who they are. I won't try to change them, because we're going through life saying it should have been different. It should have been and we're right. We're okay to do this. It's not, I'm not saying we're wrong doing this, right? But we want to change. Like, if only she knew how hard she was being, if only this, if only that. And then we give it up when we have the feminine energy connection that shows us how they are. And it's like, oh, I won't change that person anymore. And we don't logically go, I'm not going to change that person anymore. The answer is through the heart, and it just works there. And then the brain just stops trying to fight it. It's quite an interesting thing. All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, what did you think of that? I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, write and let me know. And I will do it again. And if you didn't, I may still do it again. It's my show, not your show. So what are you talking about? All right. What else have we got coming up? We have our Dream Interpretation Summit. Our 3-day event is October 6th to 8th. We would really love to see you there. That's Friday to Sunday. You give us $97. We hold you a seat, and we make you a dream interpretation expert over those 3 days. And then we give you your $97 back. Isn't that crazy? And you know what else we do for the first 150 people who sign up? We give you an extra $97 back. How do we do that, Michael? Glad you asked. Thank you for asking. We give you that back by giving you 1 month's free membership to our private dream clinic. And our private dream clinic goes exactly like you just heard on this show. You show up, you tell us your dream, and I tell you what it means in real time. How do you get to it? You go to dream-analysis.com/free, and you can book your ticket there. dream-analysis.com/free. What else have we got? We have a channeling class that starts on August 27th. If you're interested in that, if you want to know how to channel, that's a guaranteed one. You'll be channeling by the end of that class, August 27th. And you can go to dream-analysis.com/courses. Now, if you're wondering whether you should be channeling, if it's right for you, then you can always write to me and I will check it for you and tell you whether it is something that's in your path. And, you know, for most people it is, a lot of people it is, but for some people it's not. And we're honest about that. So that's it. That's our show for this week. I do hope you enjoyed it. And we will both see you next week. Take care.